Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. We continue our conversation now with Kevin Corbett, who is the CEO of NJ Transit. I left the last segment talking about your 5-year plan. Steve Sweeney, the Senate President, is launching an investigation of NJ Transit. He's had a couple now, but this is the latest one. And he wrote an op-ed in NJ.com. And I want to go through it, but I want to start with the fact that he said a long-range plan is not existent. You said there's a 5-year plan.
Well, no, actually, Steve, the senator, was correct about that. That when I came in, there was no 5-year capital plan, and I find that pretty shocking. Any other public operating entity or major corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation, you have to have a 5-year capital plan. You can't, go with a tin cup year by year. You have a lot of these assets need a plan. You have to order them, and you have to have a financial plan that goes out several years. Standard industry practice, 5-year capital plan. We didn't have one, so I started when I came in. I was pretty shocked that we didn't, and said we had to do a assessment of all our facilities, all our equipment, and say what's the actual condition, so then we can intelligently, on a basis of life cycle costs, what equipment needs to be, what stations need rehabbing, how much order of magnitude are they, what's the average age of our fleet to bring it to a level that is sustainable, where we can maintain it properly, where it's not constantly breaking down with old equipment. And we're about 3/4 of the way through that assessment, and as I've said a few times publicly, in the spring we'll be coming out with our 5-year capital plan and what that means.
So you welcome this investigation?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I leave the making of the sausage to the politicians. God bless them all. I would never want to run for office, so I believe in a good democratic policy, democracy of having elected officials. So. But the bottom line is we're talking about getting more funding for New Jersey Transit, and we need it.
Yeah, since you're talking about making the sausage, I'll bring up the sausage, and you can avoid it if you'd like to. But it sounds to me like part of this investigation of New Jersey Transit is blaming the current governor for not funding you enough, saying that $25 million that was put in the budget doesn't even cover the increased contract costs, and it dooms New Jersey Transit because you were so woefully underfunded. Is that the message you took?
Yeah, my take on it is I have public officials. There's not a single head of any transit agency in this country that doesn't need more money and doesn't want more money. So if I have public officials saying we need more money, I'm receptive to wherever it's coming from. But I don't have to balance, healthcare, education, et cetera. And when I went to the governor's budget address, I saw there were thousands of people holding signs, save our schools, or save our hospital, healthcare system, and there were no advocates out there saying save our transit system. And we do some funny things wrong, and I got plenty of people to let us know what we do wrong, and that's fine. We do want to know what we're doing wrong, look to improve that. On the other hand, we need people out there, business leaders, major employers, saying, hey, New Jersey Transit is very important, and we need to have it properly funded, both on the capital side as well as operating.
But was he right? Is $25 million insufficient? Does that not cover increased contract costs?
And to say what the total figure is, we get a figure, and we have to live with whatever comes out between the legislative and the governor's process. And certainly, anybody who wants to give us more, we're certainly glad to get it.
What would that mean? If you got more, what can you do? I mean, so he's almost saying that it's the cause of the cancellations. He's almost saying it's the cause of the delays. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's almost saying that. I think he's actually saying that. Is it, if you had more funding, that would go away?
Well, I think there's two issues. Delays, particularly, is all about rail. That's sort of what hits the headline. And a lot of the good things we're doing with bus, paratransit, light rail. There's a lot of other things that we do that I think are doing well and we're improving on. And technology, communications is very important to our customers. Sometimes it is important as the actual operations, so people can adjust their schedule. But on the rail side, there's two things. The operations, the lack of training engineers and conductors, those kind of things actually operate the train. That to me is management. And why they stopped training engineers is that's not necessarily purely a funding thing. I mean, it is, but it's relatively small in the grand scheme of things. So the cancellations that were due to labor is one thing. The mechanical breakdowns, part of that's management. How do we manage our repair facilities? But a lot of that is the capital investment, and a robust capital plan is something that I think will also help really address these challenges.
You seem to really believe in the American dream. There's going to be a bus riding to the American dream. Is it every half hour from New York?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Certainly, we have a contractual obligation to the Giants and the Jets, the MetLife for the games, and that's been a priority to really get that right for the MetLife team out there. We've worked very closely with them after one event that didn't go well, and I think they really feel we've hit it in the sweet spot. Now with American Dream, that adds another challenge of how we make sure that we take care of our commitment to the Giants and the Jets, and then while also gearing up to American Dream and to make sure that that's a success and reflects well for New Jersey as well. But at this stage, the way we see that being phased in, at the pace that they're ramping up, we're comfortable that bus will be able to handle it for now.
I just want to, we've talked about cancellations and delays and budgets so much, I just wanted to end with a positive. Over the next year, because you've now been in office or in the position for 20 months, over the next year, when people look at that year, what's the one positive you see happening? What's going to happen? How are things going to improve?
I think on the rail side, certainly the engineers are going to dramatically bring down the number of cancellations. And then with allowing us to really focus more on making sure PTC is fully operational. That's still a challenge for all the railroads in the nation to make sure January 1, 2021, that we're all operating. That's a little bit like a Y2K situation. We're all sort of want to see how that goes. So that's an internal focus for us, but that takes a lot of resources. And then I think, we're certainly more on the bus side for bus riders, a lot more much greater reliability, more buses going out. We have 500,000 more seats that will be out next year on our buses in total with the additional bus drivers and additional new buses. So I think you'll see no dramatic increase, but certainly on the rail side, a steady increase with less and less cancellations. And on the bus side, we see more new buses and more drivers out there for better reliability.
Yeah, we'll come back in a year and we'll play that.
I look forward to it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you spending the time talking to us. CEO Kevin Corbett from NJ Transit. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Coming up, is it Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day? It depends on where you live. We'll explain next on Jersey Matters.